actually hide any little imperfections that I do have in my in my haste to get my blocks done. As I said, I've done 22 of them. I need to now do another 12 to get my granddaughter's quilt cover all sewn together. And I'll put the blocks on the table when I'm done, so you can see that I've used the fabric from the flowers as the main focal point of each of the blocks, and then I've trimmed each block with a colour scheme that matches in those particular coloured flowers. And the satin stitches will be number 10 once again. So girls, sorry, 9 and 10. 9 was the outline of where the dragonfly body was going to go, and number 10 was actually to tack down the fabric and then trim it. So we've already trimmed the fabric, so it's just re-sewn back over the body. So number 11 is where we're going to do these beautiful satin stitches. So 10 was to do the body, and 11 now is to do the satin stitches. So I'm just going to press start for the satin stitches. And I'll be back when number 11 has finished sewing. I'll just hit start. And we're now going to let the machine do its thing. So I'll come back in about 20 minutes and you can see where we're up to. So there we have all the outline finished, girls. That was stitches number 11. It's done all of the gold outline around here. And of course I've got nothing on the back still. So this is where you put the backing on if you want to have a double-sided quilt. So if you want a double-sided quilt, you've got fabric on the back and fabric on the front. How do we do that? Remember we cut 2 squares, one of the normal fabric or the 100% cotton for the front, and we've cut our 100% cotton for the back. The one on the bottom is going to be right sides down. We've marked the 4 spaces for the 4 parts of the hoop so that it's dead center. I'm just going to lay those 4 marks that will level up with my hoop marks, which gives me the top spot, the side spot, the bottom spot, and the side spot over here. And that's not too bad. That's pretty close to being pretty well perfect where it is. Once I get that, all I'm going to do is pin the 2 pieces, and this is why the back fabric was slightly bigger than the front fabric. I'm just going to pin the 2 pieces of fabric together like this, so that's nice and taut at the back, and the front fabric, having been stitched in here, has got enough stitches to hold it firmly in the hoop, so I don't need to put any sticky stuff on it. I don't have to put pins anywhere near where it's going to stitch. Not going to hurt my fabric. Now this is the bit of your hoop that clips into your machine, so you can't go over the top of that, or otherwise you can't clip it to your machine. So on this particular piece here, I just fold this back so that it's nowhere near the finished block, but it sits on the edge of the plastic. So when I fold it over here, I'm going to catch it on the corners. So I've caught one on this corner, and I've caught one on this corner, making sure that the back piece that I folded is not going to be anywhere near my hoop. So my hoop is here, so I folded it down so that it sits in that hard piece of plastic, so that it sits here on that hard piece of plastic. It's not going to fold over here where we're going to stitch, because it's actually going to stitch all the way through to there. So if you put your finger here and your finger at the same spot at the back, that fabric is not folded anywhere near it, and it's not going to get caught in there. So then I'm just going to secure it a smudge and more by putting another 1 pin in each of the 4 corners, or each of the remaining 2 corners where I haven't already pinned. And that will hold the back nicely on while we finish the block. Now the last set of stitches is going to be, I'll go from Darlene's instructions. Finish the satin stitches. Turn your hoop wrong way facing you, add a layer of thin quilt batting and then your back fabric, which I've already done. I've put the back fabric and the wadding underneath. She's used 505 spray to keep it from moving. I've just put a couple of pins in there just to hold it until we've started stitching. Put it back under the machine, stitch the last step, which is the quilt step, to finish off your block and make it pretty on both sides. So if we now go over to our machine, just move some of these little bits and pieces. So here we go, girls. We're just going to pop it on. And this lot of stitches is number 12. This is the final lot of stitches for the blocks. Make sure it is a bit thick under here, girls, so make sure when you put your machine hoop back on that it is securely caught. Make sure you're right to go, and then we'll just go straight into stitching number 12. Ready to go, hit start, and away it'll go. That's got 11 more minutes on my machine to sew, and then we're done. So that's going to do the stitching. Girls, there's the finished block. It's finished sewing, and when we turn it over, we've got this beautiful design on the back. So now it's just a matter of taking it off the hoop. So we take the pins out, take it off the hoop, and this is where you can trim that excess wadding that you don't want. I'll move that. So this wadding at the back here, I would trim this all the way back as far as I could, so that I only got this full piece in here, and then I will iron that, and then I will cut that down to match the other blocks, so it comes down to the size that I cut them all. So they'll all be the same size, and they'll all have that double wadding in the center. But you can see how I've trimmed that back one all the way down there as far as I can. Okay, so you've only got the one that's one wadding, and then I'll do the inner hoop, and then I'll do the joining that Darlene's got the video of, where I put them together, fold them over and stitch them, or dip stitch through the back. So there's our block completed, and that's what the back looks like. Bye girls, I hope you enjoyed this, and I want to thank my wonderful husband for all his video assistance and his editing. That's my darling. Enjoy, girls. Bye.